Lestat here. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be profiling my vampires with Ghost Fusion. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a like. Leave a comment down below. I always enjoy interacting with you. And please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. First, we're playing triple copies of Vampire Ghost. This is going to be your primary starter. This is what adds your grace to hand and then send your familiar and retainer to graveyard. Also, while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it and you get an additional normal summon. We're playing triple copies of Retainer. If this card's special summoned, you pay 500 to add a vampire, spell, or trap from deck to hand. We're playing triple copies of Familiar. If this card is special summoned, you can pay 500 life points to add a vampire monster from deck to hand. Keep in mind, both these monsters can be revived from the graveyard by sending a vampire card you control or in your hand to the graveyard. We're playing one copy of Grace, which is going to be added to our hand with Ghost. We're playing one copy of Shadow Vampire. This is going to be our secondary normal summon to bring out Scarlet Scourge, which can revive a vampire monster from a graveyard. Upon the activation of this effect, Grace's effect will trigger, where you can pay 2,000 and Grace can revive itself. And this will enable your Beatrice plays. We're playing one copy of Vampire Voidvote. This is more or less in here for the zombie vampire. We're playing one copy of Vampire Desire, which can either revive a vampire or Foolish Burial. One copy of Domain, which grants us an additional normal summon. And one Vampire Domination for the Omni-Negate. We are playing a Zombie World package with one Necroworld Banshee, one copy of Zombie World, and of course the one copy of Doom King, which is a negate and removal. We are playing one copy of Ghost Sleeper and two copies of Ghost Fusion. If Sleeper is sent to the graveyard, you can add Ghost Fusion from deck to hand. And Ghost Fusion allows you to fuse materials you control to go into a zombie monster. What's nice about Ghost Fusion is that it has a secondary effect where if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you could banish a material from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Luckily for us, Familiar and Retainer require us to pay life points, so our life points are always going to be lower than our opponents. Until we win, of course. We are playing triple copies of Unizombie. This is going to be our secondary starter, just in case we don't draw Ghost. For consistency, we're playing triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. One copy of Foolish Burial. This is here to dump our Retainer or Familiar into graveyard. There are occasions when we do need to dump Ghost Sleeper in order to gain access to our Ghost Fusion. We are playing one Call by the Grave to counter hand traps. Speaking of hand traps, we're playing triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. And last but not least, for the hand traps, we are playing one copy of Effect Veiler. And for the Zombie World lock, we are playing triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords. Getting into our extra deck, we're playing one copy of Nether Soul Dragon. This takes two zombies to make it. This can manipulate your opponent's attack points, and it also produces a token after it attacks. Which, speaking of, we are playing the one token here. We're playing one copy of Beatrice. This can set up our Zombie World and Ghost Fusion plays. And just in case our opponent gets past our board, if Beatrice is destroyed by battle or card effect, we can bring out our Dante. This is just in here as a floater, so this is going to be a 2800 beat stick. For the Xyz monsters, we're playing one copy of Crimson Knight Vampire Braum, which can steal monsters from our opponent's graveyard. One copy of Vampire Sheridan, which has a removal effect. One copy of the Vampire Zombie. This can mill cards from both players' decks, and then you could steal a monster. We're playing one copy of Vampire Sucker. This allows you to draw a card if a zombie special summoned from the graveyard, and not only that, it allows you to tribute your opponent's zombie monsters for your tribute summons. We're playing one copy of Fascinator, which can steal an opponent's monster. One copy of Appaloosa. A lot of times we're going to be setting up Appaloosa our first turn. One copy of Almirage. This is just in here just in case we have to normal summon our Familiar or Retainer, and then we can revive them by pitching a vampire monster from our hand. For the interruption cards, we're playing one copy of IP Masquerena to help us go into cards like Unicorn for the spin, or Underworld Goddess of the Closed World to shut down activated effects. And for the synchro monsters, we're playing 1 copy of Baron de Fleur and Borreload Savage Dragon. Now I'm going to showcase a quick test hand. What we're going to do is we're going to normal summon Ghost. We're going to send a retainer to the graveyard in order to add Grace to hand. And then we could send Familiar to the graveyard. We're going to send Grace to graveyard to revive Familiar. We're going to pay 500 life points with Familiar to add Shadow Vampire. Then we're going to send Ghost to graveyard in order to revive Retainer. Retainer's effect will activate. We could pay 500. Add Domination to hand. We're going to Link Summon, sending these to graveyard. Keep in mind these are banished when they leave the field. And we're going to summon Vampire Sucker. We're going to banish Ghost from graveyard from its effect. We could normal summon one more time. So we're going to Tribute. Summon Shadow Vampire. Shadow Vampire's effect. We're going to bring out Scarlet. We're going to pay 1,000 for Scarlet's effect. Target Sucker. And then we're going to chain Grace. Grace will pay 2,000. Special summon itself. And then Scarlet will resolve, bringing back Sucker. Now, since we opened Foolish Burial, right away, we're just going to Foolish for the Necroworld Banshee. And then we're going to banish the Banshee in order to activate Zombie World directly from deck. So that's already going to be set up. We are going to Xyz Summon for Beatrice. We're going to activate Beatrice effect. We're going to detach a material. And we're going to send Ghost Sleeper to the graveyard. Ghost Sleeper's effect, when sent to grave, we're going to add Ghost Fusion to our hand. We're going to activate Ghost Fusion, so we're going to be using a material we control. And because their life points are lower than our opponents, we're going to banish material from deck. We're just going to banish a Unizombie. And then we can summon our Dragon Necro. And we do have 3 other cards in our hand, 2 of which are hand traps. So we're going to set the Imperm and the Domination. End our turn. And then during our opponent's draw phase, we're going to detach a material. To send Doom King. And then during our opponent's standby phase, because we control Zombie World, we're able to revive. This concludes today's deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give the video a like. Leave a comment down below. I always enjoy interacting with you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Hit the notification bell to be notified of when I stream and upload, and until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.